Hi, welcome back. So in this video lesson, we'll talk about test design and we do an exercise. So just to remind you, we are in the first chapter of our ISTQB Advanced Test Manager Certification course, and we are talking about the second topic, and that topic is test analysis and design. So let's get going with our test design exercise. So again, the scenario is same. You are the test manager responsible for testing loyalty card section of your company's website, and the functionality of the loyalty card system allows users to perform the following tasks. So you already knew that, and the senior management was unhappy with the last product where many defects have been reported by users, and this has been blamed on poor testing, and in your judgment it was because of a very poor requirement specification. And the next project has been divided into two parts. We talked about those parts, engine part and the web part, and engine part is being done by an outsourced team, and they will do a detailed specification document, and the developers will perform unit testing and integration test, and your team is responsible for system test, and this is outsourced to a team in another country, in another time zone. And the web part, they are following agile-like development process, and they will not make detailed specification document, and they will start the project before the engine team does, and also they will complete the project before the engine team does their project. So that also has been told about this scenario. And we talked about management concerns. The usability is important, security is important. So earlier you have, while developing test plan, you have identified some aspects in the test plan, that is FTBT 7, that is features to be tested 7, login functionality, features to be tested 8, registration of new users. These are all we have already done. Now we will build on top of that. Also in the test strategy under the heading security testing, you have outlined some elements, and these are important for this project. So there is a test plan, there is a test strategy, and then you have a set of requirements have been identified for this version of the release of the software. So there are 8 requirements that have been identified. We talked about them, and in the previous exercise we talked about building 6 test conditions for this, and in that we told what is a test condition that was missing. And one of the test conditions that was missing is that in that there was no test condition identified for a situation where there is the username is right but the incorrect password is there. So that we have added now as part of this exercise, and now the testing team, using this documentation from test strategy to test plan to test conditions, they have come up with these 4 test cases. You look at it, test case 1, what is it doing? It will start the system, it will check that the login window appears, and it will check that it has a field for the username, check that it has a password field, check that it has a login button. So it covers a set of test conditions and then features to be tested. And if you look at the test case 2, it will type in a non-existent username, type in an existing password, press login button, check that a dialog window with error message pops up, check that the user is not logged in. That is the test case 2. The test case 3 is type in an existing username, type in a non-existing password, press login button, and then check that a dialog window with error message pops up. Check that the user is not logged in. That is your test case 3, where password is not existent. Test case 4 is type in an existing username, type in the corresponding password, press login button, check that that user is logged in. These are very standard test cases your team has written. Now what you have to do in this exercise is that you have to trace back and find out what are the missing things based on your test strategy, test plan, and test conditions. So exercise 1, you have to fill this table. So you have a test conditions, and based on which requirement and based on the plan which features to be tested and based on the strategy elements. So based on all these things, now you have identified 4 test cases. So you have to link them back and fill this table. That is your exercise. I am not going to do it for you, but sample is that test case 1, for example, links back to features to be tested 7 and which is linked to R15, and that is actually served in test condition TR1. So you have to complete this whole process. That is your exercise. And the next one is, second exercise is based on the completed table previously, achieve bidirectional traceability by filling in this table. So test case, which test case is testing which test condition or which test conditions. That is what you have to identify. It is not rocket science. Please complete that exercise, and I have filled for you some samples like TC1 is testing the test condition TR1, TR2, TR3, TR4, because it is just telling that whether the button is there, whether the field is there. So it is doing that. So the third part of the exercise is that if you find a defect in test case 3, that is existent password, which test condition would be of interest. So that is what you have to do. In fact, the test case 3, in fact, if you look at it in the previous exercise, one of the missing test condition was that is like the TR7, the test condition, where non-existent password, the condition has not been identified while you are doing test analysis. So answer here is that simple. If you find a defect in test case 3, maybe actually you have to look at test condition TR7 has failed, and maybe that is linked to a particular requirement. That is what you have to do that. So hope you have enjoyed this session, and as I told you, for each of these topics more exercises are made available in the Code Tantra platform. So please go solve all the problems, then your clarity on these topics will be much better. So till that time, learn and have fun.